Hello, and welcome to our Mongo DB tutorial on Turbo 360. Thanks for tuning in. So recently we added full Mongo support on Turbo 360 project so that you can use your own Mongo database if you want instead of the Turbo data store, which is fine. So we figured now is a good time to set up a basic Mongo tutorial so that you know how to use Mongo in relation to Node Express projects and deployed on Turbo. So what we're going to build in this tutorial is a very simple Node Express application deployed on Turbo using the Mongo database, of course, and it's going to have two models. It's going to have a profile and a team, so it's going to simulate sort of like a project for like a team, like some sort of sport or a recreational league, something like that. We're going to use a REST API to interface with the data, so we're going to set up a basic REST API for all the querying and inserting data and things of that sort. We're obviously going to focus on the Mongo DB in terms of topics. We're going to use the Mongoose ORM, which is definitely the most popular ORM for the JavaScript community for Mongo DB. And we're going to cover all the CRUD operations for using Mongo and Mongoose. So CRUD is create, read, update, and delete. And we will cover all four of those in this tutorial, again using the REST API. This is a beginner tutorial, but it's not for complete beginners. You should have a basic working knowledge of HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, as well as how to set up a Node Express project. The basics of Node Express should be familiar to you. You don't have to be an expert. Again, this is a beginner project, but you should know how to set up a Node Express project, install NPM modules, etc. Know how to use the static directory as well as templating engines, things like that. You will need a Turbo account so that we can deploy our projects, so that is free. And we're also going to use the MLab service for our Mongo hosting. So you'll need an account on MLab, which is also free, and you can sign up at mlab.com. So make sure you have all that ready to go, and then we can go ahead and dive in. So in this video, we're going to get our tools set up. So first thing you want to be sure about is you want to be sure that you have Node and NPM installed on your machine. So head over to nodejs.org if you don't, and make sure you install the LTS version right here. And you should be all set to go with Node and NPM. If you want to check beforehand, you can do node-v, and you can see I'm running 8.11, and then you can do npm-v to see what version of NPM you are running. If neither of these return values for you, just go ahead and install the Node runtime on your computer and you should be good to go. Next, we're going to need to install Mongo itself, which I'm going to use Homebrew to do that. So brew sh, head over to here and install Homebrew if you don't already have it. You can just copy and paste this into your terminal and you should have, that'll install Homebrew. Homebrew is a package manager for your machine. It installs and updates packages, so that's what it does, and we're going to use that for installing Mongo. So if you do not have Mongo, well, let's check if you have Mongo. So one way you can do that is by doing Mongo -- version, and here I'm running 4.0.1. So if you do not get a return value from this command, that means you need to install Mongo. So one way you can do that is brew install Mongo DB, like so. And that will install the Mongo database on your local machine. That normally takes a couple minutes, so just be patient with that and follow the commands whenever you get prompted with further instructions. Next, we will need the Turbo CLI. So make sure you have the Turbo CLI installed. You can check by running turbo version, and make sure you have a version number like this or higher. So if you have a previous version than this, that means you need to update, and that's very easy. You can just do sudo npm i-g and then turbo CLI. And this will install the Turbo CLI on your machine, and that'll give you the ability to deploy your projects onto the Turbo environment, staging environment, which is also free. So make sure you have that set to go. And once you have all that, we should be all set. So we should be ready to start with our project, which we will do in the next video. But just make sure you go through these installations prior to that, so you will be ready to follow along the actual code in the videos. So hopefully you got all that working. See you in the next video and ready to get started.